Melody Shari. And let me tell you, the energy in the room was fake, passive-aggressive, and full of shade. So don't go anywhere because the tea is hot, the shade is deep, and you don't want to miss a second. From the very beginning, it was obvious that Kimmy had some slick things to say about Melody. She tried to play it neutral, acting like she wished Melody the best, saying things like, let her go on her journey, but her tone told the whole truth. Kimmy was not being sincere. She tried to slide that shade in like we wouldn't catch it, but we heard it loud and clear. It's giving jealousy. Letitia, on the other hand, was just as shady. She sat there with her usual smugness, low-key throwing shots at Melody like she's not still copying her every move. And let's be real, Letitia is always trying to do a better version of Melody, but never quite gets there. That's why, folks, call her copy and paste. The whole interview was giving hater energy. Carlos King did not hold back either. He tried to come off as neutral and fair, but he made sure to slide in some messy comments. He said the door's always open for Melody to return, but let's be honest, that door been closed, padlocked, and sealed. Carlos has shown time and time again that he doesn't protect the women on his shows, especially not Melody. If he cared about her, he would have defended her at that reunion instead of letting Destiny say what she said about the revenge stuff in front of everybody. That was beyond disrespectful, and Melody had every right to walk away from that burning house. Let's talk about that reunion. It was absolutely brutal. Destiny accused Melody of doing the most in front of the comeback. Group and Carlos allowed it to air. No protection, no editing, just pure embarrassment. That right there was enough to make anyone walk away from the show. And the fact that Carlos tried to make it seem like Melody just randomly decided to leave? Nah, she was pushed out. She was tired of being the punching bag, tired of the lies, and tired of the snakes pretending to be her friends. Carlos knew what he was doing, and the others were happy to go along with it. Then you have Kimmy acting like she's not part of the mess. Kimmy has always tried to be the one who plays both sides, but her mask is slipping. She's just as shady as Letitia, maybe even more. And what makes it worse is that Melody supported Kimmy during her cancer battle, connected her with resources, and showed her real love. And this is how Kimmy repays her. With shade and fake support? Nah, that's not how real friends move. Saying she respected Melody's decision to leave the show was just her trying to cover up how happy she was that Melody was gone. The jealousy is so obvious. Let's not forget Letitia either. Letitia has always had something slick to say about Melody. She constantly brings up Martel's cheating as a way to hurt Melody and uses it as a way to justify her own behavior. That's low. That's evil. That's not just shade, that's calculated. She's always wanted to be the star of the show, but she doesn't have the talent, the poise, or the intelligence that Melody brings. She doesn't shine the same way, and it eats her up inside. You can tell by how she always throws jabs then. Plays the victim when she gets called out. Carlos even tried to act like Martel and Arian were some kind of love story that led to Melody's downfall. That's a straight-up lie. Martel didn't divorce Melody because of Arian. He divorced her because he couldn't handle being with a strong, smart, successful woman. He needed control, and Arian gave him that. Arian doesn't challenge him, doesn't push him to grow, and doesn't demand anything from him. Why he stays with her? It's not about love, it's about control. Melody represented everything he wasn't, and instead of leveling up, he tore her down. Speaking of Arian, let's talk about how Carlos and others subtly tried to justify her presence. They asked who was the better match for Martel, Melody, Shari, or S. Kimmy said Melody, and that was the only honest thing she said in the way. I like the line with Shalisa's thing she said in the reset. Like, look at this. And we all know I've been exploring. And we all know I've been exploring that ComCon. They asked who was the better match. For Martel, Mel, Melody. SLC or Shri says, we are a Wa. With Sari or a says, we are Risamagics. We have Sawisa says, Kiktas. I'd be at wit's quest. We have Sawisa K, Kan Y, Kan IZ Sai, whole interview. Because, let's be real, Arian and Martel look more like a father-daughter duo than a couple. The immaturity is written all over her. It's not about her age, it's about how she carries herself. And Martel knows it. He keeps her around because she boosts his ego. He doesn't have to be his best self with her. He can be lazy, he can be toxic, and she'll accept it. Now let's get into Maurice and Kimmy's own household drama. Said he never looked at Morris as a stepdad. That says everything. Maurice put Jalen out while letting Monster move in, and then didn't even spend quality time with his own son. Drive-through visits don't count. Kimmy ended up doing all the work and Morris sat back and let it happen. And Kimmy let him. That tells you everything you need to know about their relationship. She settles. She stays in the burning house and then tries to act like everything's fine. Sound familiar? Kimmy tried to make it seem like everyone gets their time in the hot seat on the show and that it just comes with the territory. But when the heat was on her, she folded. She didn't want to answer questions about Morris's DUI or the lipstick on the cup. She changed the subject, got defensive, and acted like Melody was attacking her. But when it's someone else under fire, Kimmy is front row with popcorn. That double standard is wild. She wants to dish it but can't take it. Carlos, once again, sat back and let it happen. He loves to act like he supports Black women, but his actions say otherwise. Melody helped build that show. Her and Martel's story carried the ratings for years. Letitia, Kimmy, and Morris weren't carrying anything in the early seasons. No one was checking for them until season 5 or 6. And yet now they act like they are the stars. Like Melody was holding them back, please. That show wouldn't even exist without her. In the early seasons of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, Melody Shari and Letitia Scott were presented as friends, or at least cordial acquaintances, navigating the complexities of being married to strong-willed Black businessmen. However, as cracks started to show in their respective marriages, so did the fissures in their friendship. What began as minor jabs and miscommunication quickly spiraled into shade, silent treatment, and explosive on-camera confrontations. Letitia often accused Melody of being dismissive and cold, while Melody felt Letitia played the victim and wasn't being honest about her own marital issues with Marsa. Their dynamic shifted from surface-level support to passive-aggressive shade sessions and deeply personal digs. One of the key turning points in Melody and Letisha's relationship came when Melody began to question Marsa Scott's fidelity and openly stated that she had heard rumors about him allegedly cheating. That moment was the nail in the coffin. Letitia felt betrayed that a woman she once considered a friend would publicly bring such accusations without proof. Melody, on the other hand, believed she was simply speaking truth and highlighting the hypocrisy in how Letitia was quick to judge others but blind to her own situation. The tension from that moment never truly died down, even during forced group trips and cast events. Kimmy's relationship with Melody was slightly more nuanced. While Kimmy never had the deep sisterhood with Melody that Letitia claimed to have, she and Melody did share moments of mutual respect. Kimmy often acted as the voice of reason between the feuding women, trying to keep the peace without fully taking sides. However, her reluctance to call out Letitia's behavior more directly created friction with Melody, who expected loyalty and transparency. Melody began to see Kimmy as someone who was too neutral, which to her translated as silently choosing Letitia's side. The breakdown of trust between Melody and Kimmy was more subtle but just as painful. There were times when Kimmy would make comments in confessionals that Melody viewed as shady or backhanded. Fans noticed the micro-expressions and carefully chosen words Kimmy used when discussing Melody's marriage, her brand, and even her social media presence. While Kimmy rarely said anything outright cruel, the undercurrent of judgment was there, and Melody felt it. That passive judgment cut just as deep as Letitia's blatant disrespect. Melody has spoken on multiple occasions about how isolating it felt to film with people she could no longer trust. What was supposed to be a sisterhood of Black excellence turned into a battlefield of egos, secrets, and survival. She often hinted that the other women were more invested in keeping their image clean than being authentic. A subtle dig at both Letitia and Kimmy, despite efforts by Carlos, King, and OWN producers to stage reconciliations. The damage seemed irreparable. Every sit-down or girls' trip ended in more drama and less resolution. What's especially interesting is how Letitia and Kimmy's bonds seemed to grow stronger the more distant they became from Melody. It's almost as if the shared experience of dealing with Melody bonded them in a twisted way. Kimmy, despite her battle with cancer, often aligned herself with Letitia on key issues, whether it was about Melody's diva behavior or her tendency to isolate herself. For Melody, that was confirmation that her intuition had been right all along. The sisterhood was never genuine, and loyalty in this group was always conditional.